climate change is a myth.
You think climate change is a myth? What would be your message to Sadiq Khan if you could give
Get out, leave us alone. You're not no longer needed. You've done more damage to London than Hitler ever did in the Second World War. And if he couldn't do it, you've done it. Thank you.
Some people might be quite offended by that.
Oh, good.
Why no to ULEZ? Why yes to it? It's more like it.
So there's a particulate matter, 2.5 and 10. And that will need to be above 12.5 and above 54 to be bad.
How are you going to be impacted by ULEZ?
Greatly, from carers coming in to nurses and things like that. Tradespeople, I need tradespeople to come in, my bill's going to be affected by that, it's going to be more expensive. You know, I think a lot of people don't realise this will affect you even if you don't drive.
People will suffer, people will die because people are getting rid of their cars. They can't take their elderly parents out, they can't visit, they can't take people who are with cancer care to the Royal Marsden Hospital because he has deemed it's inside the zone. Palliative care, they need that. They can't take it. You know, people who are dying of cancer don't have the money to buy a new car.
4,000 people are dying prematurely per year because of air pollution. You know, it's linked to other diseases, things like that. Shouldn't we be trying to tackle that?
You know, that's really quite straightforward. 4,000 people a year are not dying from air pollution, Londoners. That's an absolute farce, it's a lie.
Why do you think it's nonsense though?
Because it's fact, because that's the fact. And I live on facts.
We've got a granddaughter who's a midwife and she works shifts 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. So on the shifts that she does, she's going to have to pay £25 plus she has to pay £10 to park her car because she can't walk around in the winter, in the dark.
You can't get on a bus in Croydon without being a bit worried.
Facial recognition. Excuse me, this is me. You will not take my photograph. I haven't signed a contract with you, so it's not going to happen, Mr. Khan.
If net zero is to achieve totally clean air, and therefore we have residents that have got no jobs, no income, no prospects, there needs to be a balance.
You know, the tube network has pollution levels 40 times worse than that as street level, but that's not being dealt with. Why is that not being addressed too? Surely all forms of pollution should be dealt with.
Why? Why? This is just awful. And have you seen those cameras? They're monsters.
These are it's measured with the same device, as you can tell, and they are real readings of the underground.
You're a young person yourself. Are you worried about climate change? Are you worried about air pollution?
I'm worried about, I'm worried about both of these things. I think that the climate crisis, the air quality, certainly in cities, is a massive issue. But I think it's a complex issue. And I think complex issues require complex solutions. Like, we didn't get here overnight in the situation that we're in, so we're not going to get out of it overnight by simply imposing a fee on clean living. You know, it won't work that way. It needs to be a joint enterprise, and I think it needs addressing.
I think climate change is happening, but it's natural. I don't think it's anything to do with man-made cars, man-made issues.
Britain gives out 1%. I think we need to look to the rest of the world to clean up their act before we punish ourselves into oblivion.
I don't know what a best solution would be. A better solution would be to walk, to cycle, and to use public transport. But that's not possible away from central London. It's just not possible. Yeah, I'm a tradesman. Mayor Khan wants me to take my ladders and all my equipment on the underground.
If you could give a message to Sadiq Khan, what would it be?
You've got to scrap this. It's not working. It does absolutely nothing for clean air. It's just hurting everyday people. It's crippling disabled people like myself. It's crippling businesses, charities, everyone.
It's quite a big claim to link him to Hitler or compare him to Hitler.
He's destroying England. He's doing what Hitler couldn't do in the Second World War.
Some people might be quite offended by that.
Oh, good. Because unfortunately, he's offended us.
Listen to the people. Look at what's happening. This is North Sheen, for God's sakes. This is the boundary road. And look how many people turn up. We didn't expect this many people to turn up in such a small little place. But there's such a strong strength of feeling. Every single one of these shops that I leafleted all took a leaflet because they are all terrified about losing business because this is the boundary road.
Which news sources do you trust at the moment?
I watch a lot of stuff that's independent on YouTube.
Maybe you're a conspiracist. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
How would you respond to that?
I respond to that by saying everything we've said is so far so right. So if we're so wrong and being called far right, but so far we're right so far.